as Naruto is standing on the outside wall of the Sand Village, he uses another tailed beast bomb to get the full and complete undivided attention of Shukaku, meaning that he shot a strong enough tailed beast bomb at Shukaku to turn him around to make him angry at Naruto more than anyone else. So Naruto, looking at Shukaku, tells Shukaku that he really wished that they didn't have to meet like this. And Naruto was like, but it doesn't matter now, does it? And he holds out his hand with the crystal in it, and in front of his hand, he forms like three different tailed beast bombs that are relatively small in length. They're like Rasengan sized. So they're basically, yeah. So he shoots them, and the explosion is about the same size of a Rasengan. So they hurt. They just, like little cannon fodder. Something to keep you on your guard. That should have hurt if it hit you. Um, so Naruto and Shukaku are fighting, and Naruto gets hit by one of Shukaku's wind bullets, and when he looks on his hand, he sees that Shukaku tried to seal his hand away from him using a wind bullet as the seal carrier. So Naruto gets angry and he tells Shikaku that he shouldn't really be messing with things that he doesn't understand and that he would like for him to go back inside of Gaara. And Shikaku, being one of the only tailed beasts that'll willingly talk to people because he's crazy, tells Naruto that why would he go back inside of him if he's in control right now? And Naruto looks at him and was like, no, I wasn't asking you. And he holds out his left arm because he can't use his right. He holds out his left arm and he opens a portal underneath Shukaku and he falls into it. And Shukaku is like, where are we doing? Like, where are we? And Naruto looks at his right hand because in Naruto's um small little universe, like the dimension that he owns, no form of chakra can exist, kinda, besides his own. It's weird. So anybody with chakra it can only use chakra if they go in there with Naruto. If Naruto is planning on fighting them, they will die. Well, besides them and the tailed beasts. Like anyone with a big enough chakra pool can survive in there and use their chakra, they will just have way more limited. Like it'll be way more limited than what it would be if you were sitting outside. So Shukaku looks at Naruto's right hand and was like, "How was that even possible? I sealed that away. You shouldn't be able to use your right hand." And Naruto begins to explain to him that no matter what you do in this dimension with your seals, if they don't have enough chakra in them to stay, they'll just vanish. And Shukaku like gets confused because Shukaku's been alive for a long time, so he's like, when did you when did this jutsu get made? I was not made aware of this jutsu. And Naruto flies up to him and was like, silly tailed beast. This isn't a jutsu. This is just power. And he forms a huge tailed beast bomb directly in front of Shukaku's face and fires it. And when another portal opens, they see a massive, unconscious Shukaku falling through the air, turning back into Gaara. And they see Naruto jump out the portal, well, come out another portal back standing on the wall. And Katie asks Naruto, so how did the crystal work out? And Naruto tells her, as you can see, pretty damn well. So Naruto starts looking around and he's like, "So where's Gara?" And Katie tells Naruto that Gara's over there. So Naruto gets up and he starts walking over to Gara. And, well, he's already up. He starts walking over there to Gara. And when Gara snaps back into consciousness, all the only person that he sees standing above him is Naruto. So he believes that he just destroyed the entire sand village because where he is a crater and he can't see up past the crater. So the only thing that he sees is the crater in Naruto. So he thinks that he just destroyed the entire village, and Naruto looks at him and laughs, and Gaara asks him why is he laughing, and Naruto's like, "Do you really think that the One Tails has enough power to destroy an entire village?" And Gaara looks at him and was like, "You do know that all tailed beasts have the power to destroy an entire village, right?" And Naruto was like, "Yeah, I know that, but specifically the One Tails. If we're going by numbers here, he should be the weakest." And Gaara was like, "We're not gonna have this conversation. Is everyone okay or not?" And Naruto looks at Gaara and was like, "Yeah, I beat your ass before you could do anything serious." And Gaara was like, "You really didn't have to word it that way. Like, you could have just left it the way it was. You could have just said, 'Yeah, everything's fine,' and just kept it moving. But no, you just had to put that in there." And Naruto was like, "Yeah, we're not expecting anything in return. So if you don't mind, we would like to leave now." And Naruto, halfway through stopping, he asks Gaara what made him, like halfway from walking away, Naruto stops and asks Gaara what made him go full on One Tails mode. And Naruto, um, yeah, Naruto asks him that, and then Gaara tells him that he doesn't know. At one point, he was sitting in the Kazekage's office. Then the next, he was outside as Shukaku destroying the village. And Gaara tells Naruto that they're gonna do further research onto it, and the Sand Village is gonna do further research into it and let him know what comes up in his findings to see if Naruto would help take whatever it is doing this to them down. And Naruto agrees because he is still a Jinchuriki over everything. So when they get back to the Leaf Village, Naruto tells Katie that he might go into his dimension for a little while. And Katie asks Naruto why, and Naruto doesn't answer. He's just like he's just telling her that he has to go in there for a while. And when she tells him okay, like she's understanding that he's gonna be in there. When she says okay, he opens the portal, and when he goes in there, he holds out his hand and he notices that there are like veins coming from the gem itself. And when the Nine Tails finally says something to Naruto about it, Naruto asks him, what are these?" And the Nine Tails tells him that he doesn't know, that maybe he should have asked Katie to come along with him because she probably would have had a better idea of what's going on with his hand right now. I just got introduced to the whole magic thing. It's not every day when you get sealed inside someone that's going to stay alive infinitely until, well, someone comes along and kills him, or he just gets bored and unseals me, you know. And Naruto is thinking about it, and Katie is talking to, like, she's grocery shopping, talking to this guy that normally is at the grocery store around the same time she is. So as she's talking to the guy, a portal opens and she gets pulled through the portal, and the guy is like in complete and utter shock. And Naruto sticks his head out the portal and tells him that if he ever comes too close again, that he'll kill him. And then he pokes his head back into the portal, and Katie was like, "Really? You really just had to do that? Like you couldn't?" And Naruto was like, "Up, up, 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 up. Look at this." And Katie looks at Naruto's hand and was like, "Oh, well, that's not, it's not good." And Naruto was like, "See, how is that not good?" And she tells Naruto that that means that you didn't completely kill off the crystal version. You didn't kill it off completely, and instead of it coming back to defeat you, realizing that you already have its powers and things, instead of doing that, now it's just going to turn one half of your body. Well, now it's just going to take one half of your like take your arm and turn it into crystal, and you'll just have to deal with that for the rest of your life. And Naruto was like, "What's so bad about that?" And she she tells Naruto that for vampires, for her, like for them being vampires, getting your arm turned into crystal is one of the most painful things that their version of a vampire can go through, which freaks Naruto out. But Naruto's never really truly expressed full like pain. So yeah. And as they're talking, they look off into the distance because for some weird reason another portal opens inside Naruto's thing. And Katie looks at Naruto and was like, "Did you open another portal?" And Naruto gets up and was like, "No, I didn't." So immediately when the masked man steps through the portal, he is greeted by Naruto holding the most amount of tailed beast bombs he can muster, and Katie and Hinata, they brought Hinata in because, well, she's also strong now. So yeah. Plus Hinata's like Naruto's kind of servant type now thing. Well, not servant, bodyguard, but not bodyguard. She has her own life. Yeah. Anyway, so she's one of Naruto's partners. So Naruto asks the masked man, why is he here and what does he intend on doing here? And the masked man was like, "Oh, am I interrupting something?" And Naruto looking at him, he's like, "You didn't answer my question." And the masked man tells Naruto that he's just passing through. He shouldn't have to worry about him for very long. And Naruto was like, "Oh no, you're wrong. I have to pay attention to you now because now you're in my domain." And Obito, well, the masked man tries to escape, but he realizes that he can't use his chakra, which freaks him out. And Naruto goes on to explain that if you don't have a lot of chakra, you can't be in here. So Naruto tells him, "Looks like your friend that you were going to go see has to wait because you aren't going to make it to that meeting." And Naruto just releases like six miniature sized tailed beast bombs that all exploded onto Obito at once. And when the dust clears, Obito is nothing but a smoldering wreck on the floor, like legit just a pile of ashes. And Naruto like after shooting the tailed beast bombs, he looks back down at the crystal and it's like it starts slightly growing, and as he's looking at it grow, a sharp pain shoots up from his arm and in like into the rest of his body, and Naruto just collapses instantly. And when Naruto collapses, he opens a portal like right before he collapses, because you know if he collapses inside of that universe, there's no way for, well, inside of his like his little pocket dimension, there's gonna be no way for Katie and Hinata to get him to anywhere else. So he opens a portal right before he passes out, and he falls through it. And Hinata and Katie are fast enough to run through the portal before it closes. And Katie asks Naruto what's going on, and she looks at his hand and she sees that the crystal is already growing massively. So Naruto is taken to the Elite Village Hospital, where he is in a constant like state of stress, and he's sweating so much because his body is generating a lot of heat due to, well, his arm is generating a lot of heat because it's crystallizing. So yeah, his arm is really like sweating because he's generating heat because it's crystallizing. Anyway, so um Naruto is like lying in the like the room, like his hospital bed, and Hiruzen asks Katie when did this start happening, and she tells him right after they fought the masked man. And Hiruzen asks her, like, what do you mean by the masked man? We haven't heard that in forever. Now we're gonna flash over to Orochimaru's perspective, and Orochimaru gets greeted by a very irritated pain. Well, not an irritated pain, but he gets introduced to a old wrinkly man. And Orochimaru like turns around and asks and tells him that he was waiting for when he was gonna stop by. And the old man tells him that you need to resurrect him because without him my plans can't come to fruition. And Orochimaru sighs and was like, I'll do my best. And this is where I'm ending this part off. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. Anyway, this has been Shinobi. Peace.